Showdown takes a break from horror as we go back in time to the Old West. Directed by Richard Donner, written by Frank Darabont, and shot by Hiro Narita. This is an original story produced for the Two-Fisted Tales pilot, but shares its name with a story from Two-Fisted Tales number 37, drawn by John Severin. We have two stories to cover today. It's a duel of the showdowns. Webb Young and Whip Creed fight in the street. Webb gets a good punch in before the sheriff breaks things up. Whip warns Webb to leave town before sundown, or else he's coming after him. All of the fuss is over Webb trying to defend the honor of Miss Lane Terrell. She warns Webb of Creed's brutality and that he should skip town. Webb doesn't listen. He stays and practices his quick draw. This is the first time he will ever be using a gun. While in his hotel room, two men break in and fight Webb. They knock him out cold and carry him out. Billy and Harley have been on the run in the desert for days. Harley is in serious pain and collapses off his horse. Billy relieves himself of the dead weight. Tom McMurdo and his posse have been tracking Billy with no luck. His men are losing hope and want to head back to town. They find Harley's grave. It's still fresh. They must be closing in on the outlaw. Webb wakes up in a ranch house. Miss Terrell had him brought to her place when she found out he intended to stay and face Whip Creed. She will not have Webb's blood on her conscience. Webb refuses the help. He would rather die than be branded a coward. Terrell agrees to let Webb face Creed on the condition that he learns how to handle a gun from Jingle Bob, the fastest shooter from her father's time. Webb accepts her offer. Billy arrives at the town of Mescal. He rents a room for the night from the blacksmith. As Billy walks his way to the saloon, McMurdo calls out his name.
I'm calling you out, Billy.
You the one been tracking me?
Thomas McMurdo. Tom.
Texas Ranger, I heard about you. Hey, Tommy. They say you're the best there is.
I gotta take you in, Billy.
Billy has no intention of being taken in. The two meet in the street for their showdown.
Tommy, make your move.
Tom's tracking days are over. Bob trains Webb for days. Webb's aim greatly improves when he takes his time. The problem is when he shoots quickly, he has a tendency to miss the target. Webb knows he is still no match for Creed. Bob thinks Webb needs a break from shooting practice. The two ride out with a group of ranch hands to bring in the summer herd. That night, they are attacked by bandits. A wild shootout happens in the darkness. Webb instinctively fires, even though he can't see anything. The bandits try to ride away. Billy orders whiskey in the saloon and starts a peculiar game of cards with one of the locals, who turns out to be a magic tonic salesman. One who guarantees his product will change Billy's life.
Oh, did I forget to mention? Today, there's an extra discount. 10%.
Go peddle your potion elsewhere, little man. I'm as fast as they is.
My final offer. One time only. I will give you a bottle of Dr. Silver's Wonder Tonic. Absolutely free. And if you do not see a difference, I'll pay you $1.
Billy drinks the tonic and begins hallucinating. Sitting around the saloon, he sees Doc Holliday, Harley, even Tom McMurdo. Everyone Billy has gunned down in his lifetime. He accuses the salesman of drugging him when all the deceased saloon patrons surround him. Even the salesman reveals himself to be an innocent bystander, struck down by one of Billy's stray bullets. The spirits want Billy to join them, but he will not go down without a fight. That's when the news is broken to him.
I gotta take you in.
I shot you dead, Tom McMurdo.
True enough.
But you don't recall what happened after that, do you?
I came in here.
Oh, you remember walking away from my body? Crossing the street? Coming up those saloon steps? Can you honestly say? It's all a blank, isn't it? You don't remember it all. You're just like us. Only you ain't got sense enough to admit it.
Accept it, Mr. Quintain.
Billy will not accept his own death, and through sheer force of will, makes all of his past victims disappear. Webb puts all his practice to good use and takes his time to fire off one shot. He hits and kills one of the bandits. After the attack, Webb and the ranch hands take stock of the runaway herd, and they're dead. They find Jingle Bob among the slain, a spur in his hand. In his final moments, Bob was able to grab it off one of the bandits' boots. Webb sends the ranch hands home with the herd, while he rides into town to see the sheriff. As Webb hitches his horse, Whip Creed's familiar face greets him. He doesn't care about their previous scuffle, as long as Webb stays out of his way. Webb sees that his once rival is missing a spur. He gives Creed the mystery spur, and sure enough, it's his. Webb vows revenge. Creed draws his gun, but it's too slow. Webb Young shoots Whip Creed dead. Jingle Bob is avenged. A 1990s tour group enters the saloon and fills us and Billy in on the details of his fateful encounter with McMurdo's posse.
Oh, and what a showdown it was too, folks. Both men drew and both men fired. But it was Tracker Tom that hit the dust, struck down by the outlaw's bullet. But we all know that Tom McMurdo didn't come to town alone that fateful day. His posse was hid out all over this town. And the moment that Tom bit the dust, that posse cut down Billy Quintain. Yes, sirree. Out of every window, every rooftop, out of every doorway they come, a-flinging lead at him.
Billy steps out of the saloon and finds the town is now nothing more than a tourist attraction. He steps back into the saloon. Sobbing, Billy admits to the others that he was wrong to deny his own death. Tom calls to him. Billy takes one last drink and steps out of the saloon once more. We find ourselves back at Billy and Tom's duel, only this time we see the carnage that ensued afterward. Billy is struck down. Before riding off into the afterlife, Billy, Tom, and the others stop by their grave markers. I don't have much to say about Showdown the comic. It is a charming short story, a Western underdog tale, the type I think would have actually worked well if adapted for the screen, especially with training montages. The episode didn't quite come together for me, but there is still a lot I appreciate. The interaction between Billy and Tom was particularly intense. I felt their rivalry before they even shared the screen. And I love the score. Its somber notes are the perfect swan song to carry all the fallen gunslingers to the other side. The opening credits are reminiscent of one of my favorite movies, High Plains Drifter, another Western with supernatural elements. I don't hold this against the story, but having the knowledge of Showdown being intended as part of the Two-Fisted Tales pilot, dabbling in ghosts and spirits right out the gate for an adventure series, feels like an odd way to differentiate from the horror show. Now, I feel like if I had killed as many people in cold blood as Billy did, and their spirits were waiting for me, I would guess they'd be out for revenge. Darabont and Donner aim for something deeper. All is forgiven. Billy's victims just wanted to welcome another into the afterlife. While I feel this sentimentality was too rushed for the once amoral Billy, I do want to acknowledge the creative team's guts to try something that I don't think most writers and directors would have attempted with this setup. I will take more ambition over no ambition in my entertainment any day. Criticisms be damned, Showdown is worth a draw.
Let's ride.